going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Now, I almost wasn't able to make a video today, but I did have a look at what was happening in the charts, and I wanted to make this quick update for you anyway, so I do hope you stick around till the end. I hope you get some value out of this video, because what's happening right now is we are at the end of the month. We are having the monthly close for Bitcoin, and it is, in fact, a red candle for the month of November. And not only that, but the stock market close, even though we do have a few hours, until we get this candle close, at the time of making this video is not looking that great. You can actually see right here, for example, the S&P has this massive wick from the top side showing that there has been incredible sell pressure this month alone. And the last time that we did have something very similar to this was actually back in January of last year before we had the massive correction. Now, although this was due to the news of COVID coming out and we did recover after that, we do need to discuss what is happening right now for Bitcoin, because in yesterday's video, I told you guys I was extremely bullish. However, we have pulled back slightly since then, but I do want to clarify a few things. There is something happening right now for Bitcoin that is actually extremely bullish. However, we may have one final dip, and I'm going to show you what could happen, where this could go, and why I still hold my $75,000 prediction for the end of the year. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. Going to be a little bit quicker of a video, hopefully. So let's dive in and have a look at Bitcoin. Now, I did talk about this sort of ascending, broadening channel, which is somewhat bearish, technically speaking, when you look at technical analysis, and you can see that every time we have come down, we have gone back up, we have come back down again. Now, although we are putting in higher highs and higher lows, we can't really seem to break above the previous all-time high. I mean, even when we got above it, okay, so we were here sitting around 67,000, we got up to around 69,000, but that wasn't really the kind of move you would be looking for new all-time highs. So are new all-time highs actually possible by the end of this year? And could there be one more opportunity for buying the dip? Now, I want to show actually a flip side to this analysis. And by the way, shout out to Crypto, Anoop over here. He says, Livermore speculative chart in play for Bitcoin. Now, this chart actually suggests that this pattern could actually be bullish for Bitcoin, and we could be looking for around an $85,000 target after this move. So let's have a look and see exactly what's happening right now. Well, everything is going great, right? We are having some very nice bounce off of this legacy support right here, but we cannot get above this previous support as resistance. In fact, we didn't even get above the blue zone right here. We actually got stopped out at around the $59,400 level. Now, what I think is happening personally, and this is why I believe that we could have potentially one more dip for Bitcoin before the blast off, is, as I've been saying, when you're looking at a healthy market, you don't want it to just go straight up, because that's often when you have the biggest corrections. Now, you could see right here that we had a beautiful bounce right here off of this level, which was our previous resistance right here before we had this dump when Bitcoin got up to that $53,000 level back in early September, right? So that is something very positive. What you want to do in markets is you want to build that foundation. You want to build the structure. You want to justify that the previous resistance is in fact acting as support. And if we zoom out even farther, you can actually see why this level was so critical right here, and that's because of all of this massive support that we had at this level. So that was our resistance at first. Now it is looking to act as support. But the reason why it could go a little bit lower is simply because of, let me pull the chart up right here. I believe I do have the moving average I can throw on. Let me actually throw it on the daily chart right here. It'll be a lot easier for you guys to see, is the 21 exponential moving average. Now, the reason that I look at the 21 exponential is because it is a very significant moving average, especially for the Bitcoin price. For example, you could see down here, we stayed below it. Once we fell below it, we had that massive crash. Bitcoin had a 55% correction. And once we got back above it, we went from all the way down here, back up to these levels. Now, keep in mind, this is the this is the market cap. This isn't the price that I'm looking at right now, but it's essentially the same chart either way. And you can see as soon as we got, above it here, we skyrocketed, and now we find ourselves back below it again. So if we actually have a little bit of a look at what's happening right now, you will notice that we are being held down again by the 21 exponential. So if I just kind of draw out, kind of pretend where it's going to go, you could see that the last time that we did reach this level, we did touch it, we got rejected, and we retested down on these lower levels. So if Bitcoin was to come down and retest this upwards sloping support, that could in fact bring Bitcoin back down to the lower $50,000 level. Now that would not be bearish. In fact, I would view this as a final potential opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin before the next massive move. Because if we go back over here to this chart, or I just took it off, where are we? Sorry, guys. Like I said, I wasn't even going to make a video today. I'm trying to just make this video super quick. But I mean, essentially, I could just draw what's been happening right here. So, we did have this downward sloping. Now, let me actually stick to this chart. Let me stick to this chart. So, essentially right here, what we had was a bit of a falling wedge pattern right here, right? Coming down from here. And then we did have the breakout. And it looks like that could be what Bitcoin is doing right now. So falling wedges are actually bullish patterns, but we are in a giant ascending wedge. However, the last times that we did this, once we finally did break out of them, you could see right here, we broke out down here. This was after the bottom of the major crash. We had a 77% move. Then the next one from bottom to top, this was a nice move. We actually had a 64% move. And if we were to look for that breakout again, we would be looking, if that did come down to the $50,000 level, we would be looking for, from bottom, if you guys were able to get in on this move, that would be about a 32% move. So diminishing returns, but that would actually put us at a new all-time high for Bitcoin. So do I still stand by my $75,000 prediction that I had spoke about a couple weeks ago? Yes, I do still think $75,000 is attainable, believe it or not, by the end of this year. But I can see us having one more dip just to sort of build that base so that we can move to those next higher levels. So, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're super bullish and now we're going down. Yes, I understand this, but what we're doing is we're building that structure. These are how markets move. So I essentially just wanted to sort of clarify that for everyone out there. Sorry, I was a little scattered on the charts today. Like I said, I wasn't even going to make a video today. I do have a lot of things going on, but I just wanted to basically reassure everyone and let you know that this is very natural for the price market, for the price movement of markets. Now, the only thing, like I said, that could be a little negative, and we could have that black swan event, we could have another rampant case of, the COVID variant, and then everything crashes again. And we don't exactly have the greatest candle forming right now. There are a few hours left for the stocks. But that being said, the same way that we had the massive crash back here in March, it did recover, and I am still incredibly bullish on the Bitcoin chart. So I just wanted to sort of clarify that for everybody. We haven't broken any structure. We're not putting in any lower lows. If we do have that dip, even down to 50,000, just to sort of reclaim that previous resistance support, I am still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. So I did have a few other things I could talk about today. For example, Shiba Inu is actually pumping. It's above Avalanche. That's simply because they had a lot of good news come out. They got listed on Kraken. Newegg said that they were going to be basically accepting Shiba Inu. You can actually see the billboard right here, as well as the fact that they may potentially be looking into gaming. So we know gaming has been huge, so that's probably why Shiba is actually pumping today. And the other bit of news was that Jack Dorsey is actually leaving Twitter, which some people thought that was bearish because isn't he this like big Bitcoin guy and he's leaving Twitter? Well, no, if you actually consider it, you go back and you look at these tweets that he said, the reason I have so much passion for Bitcoin is largely because of the model it demonstrates, a foundational internet technology that is not controlled or influenced by any single individual or entity. This is what the internet wants to be, and over time, more of it will be. So maybe that's why he's leaving Twitter. Maybe he wants to sort of spread that decentralized ethos. But if we actually go back to a tweet that he put out on July 15th, keep in mind he still is over at Square, who, by the way, is the third largest holder of Bitcoin publicly, right? Obviously, MicroStrategy and Tesla would definitely be up there pretty high. Square is creating a new business, joining Seller, Cash App, and Tidal, focusing on building an open developer platform with the sole goal of making it easy to create non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized financial services. Our primary focus is Bitcoin. Its name is to be determined. So maybe what's going on right now is that he's choosing to focus on payments, or, most likely Bitcoin, which is in fact quite bullish. Some other news really quick. While we're here, might as well go over the news, right, guys? This actually may be one of the quickest videos I've ever made. But I just wanted to clarify, because in yesterday's video, I explained that I was bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't want people to think that means like we're going to literally just explode tomorrow. I'm bullish because we're building that base. We're building that foundation. But even if we went down to 50, or even, believe it or not, $48,000, we're still putting in beautiful higher lows, and I'm still incredibly bullish, and no structure has been broken. But, side note, you are seeing investment managing firm Invesco unveiling a new physical-backed Bitcoin ETF. Now, this is over in Germany. So this is pretty cool. Physically backed is important because it actually means that they have to hold the underlying asset. And also, Kelly Investment Firm is filing for a futures ETF for Ethereum, right? So this is actually good as well. Even though it's not physically backed, it would be cool to see an Ethereum futures as well. And also, just to end on some FUD, non-FUD, who knows what India's doing. Essentially, you have the former finance secretary saying that this whole thing about private cryptocurrencies was a little bit misunderstood. He said that it was a misinterpretation, and he believes that the Indian government should formulate a bill after discussing it with stakeholders and crypto investors. So, kind of to just sort of end this video on a bit of a positive note, if we come over here and we have a look at the crypto index, which, like I said, guys, look at this. We're still perfectly above all these levels of support. And even if we do break this dotted line, which is the short term, we can still come down here to the inflection point of about 48,000 and still be putting in a higher low, which would be incredibly bullish. Now, if we do fall below that level, well, then we'll have to have a discussion. But, right now you're just kind of chilling. It's just kind of neutral. But at the end of the day, when you are looking at this Bitcoin chart, and let me actually switch this to the monthly. Let me get rid of all the drawings. At the end of the day, guys, Bitcoin has been arguably, not talking about, small altcoins, but as something that macro investors are interested in, the best performing asset of the last 12 years. And when you're looking at fads, things that could potentially just go away, you think of, things like fashion or toys. We have whole decades, right? The 80s, the nostalgia of the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. Those are decades, 10 years. This has been going on for 12 years. This is not a fad. And when you consider the fact that inflation has been running absolutely rampant, okay? 40% of all the money in circulation has been printed in the last 2 years. When people come to me and say, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? Well, if you're already in crypto and you're already exposed, maybe right now is a little bit high, potentially short term for Bitcoin, but we do know that anytime that anyone has ever bought Bitcoin, even if you bought at the all-time high, if you just waited 3.5 years, you always made money, minimally made a 3x, right? So at the end of the day, guys, do you want to keep your money in a bank? You can, but you're guaranteed to lose. You could maybe hedge into gold, which really hasn't responded even to all of the inflation and the panic the way that it should have. You could buy some land. Then again, you don't really own the land. If you think you own your house, stop paying taxes for a year and tell me if you still own that house. You know what I'm trying to say? Bitcoin is truly the people's money. It really is, guys. And at the end of the day, if somebody was coming to me and saying, should I buy Bitcoin now? My answer would be, if you don't have any Bitcoin, then I would say yes, not financial advice, but get involved, buy some Bitcoin, get some skin in the game. If you've been in crypto for a while, well, do I believe we're topping out? To be totally honest, I still think we can see a blow off to even up to $250,000. And then it's going to crash 80% or something like that, come back down to the levels that we're at today, and they're going to say it died, and it's all going to happen again. You guys know how it goes. But at the end of the day, I still remain bullish, and any short-term price action, even if it has to do with the pandemic, you know, in hindsight, look at this, guys. Look at this wick right here. This wick right here was COVID. This was it. And look at where we are today. So at the end of the day, guys, is it really ever truly a bad time to buy Bitcoin? No, it's not. As long as you believe in it and you can dollar cost average and you understand that it has the ability and capacity of having 60% dumps, but then having tremendous gains in the next following months and years, then there really isn't anything to be worried about. So I hope that kind of clarified everything going on right now. I know there's some panic about November not being a great month. I'm still very bullish, and I do honestly think that we are going to see a phenomenal Q1 and Q2 of next year. I think it's going to surpass even some of the craziest expectations. And with that being said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I hope you enjoy these types of videos. Of course, if you haven't seen these right here, check them out right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.